In this video, we're going to talk about the taskbar and how we can make changes to the properties. We've talked a little bit about the taskbar in previous videos. So we've talked about the start menu, we've talked about the search. With the taskbar, there are some properties that we can change to kind of customize this for our computing experience. If I come over here and I right click in an empty area, I can go to the taskbar settings. You'll also notice that I have this fairly large contextual menu that popped up. So I have what are called toolbars. I could add an address toolbar or a links toolbar, a desktop toolbar. I could add a new toolbar. I could go into Cortana. And so here we've got this big search box. I can hide that. I could just show a Cortana icon, or I could show the search box. So if I click on show the icon, then we just have this icon here, and then it would pop up. And that would probably save me a little more room, right? So that's a good customization for me. I'm going to go back into this. So I right clicked on a blank area of my taskbar again. And then now I've just got my show Cortana icon. I can show the task view button or not. The task view button is this guy right here. And remember, I had multiple windows open, and then I clicked this and it showed me those windows as little pictures, and I could choose between which one I wanted to pull forward, right? So I could show that one or not. There's also a keyboard shortcut that you can use for that, and it's called Alt-Tab. And so you can see here I've got my File Explorer, and I've got my computer, and then I've got my other little program here, and I'm still holding down the Alt key. So this is called like a flip. So you're flipping between the different programs that are actually open. If I have this one that has a white border around it, which indicates it is the selected one. If I let go of the Alt key, that one's going to be forward. So I'm going to press and hold Alt, and I'm going to press Tab one time. Now I let go of the Tab button, but my Alt button is still being held down. If I hit Tab again, it's going to move the border around Calculator. If I hit Tab again, it moves it to File Explorer, and so on and so forth. So right now the border is around Calculator. I'm going to release the Alt key from my on my keyboard, and that's going to bring the Calculator up into focus, or having it be the active window. Okay, so we could do it a couple of different ways. I would probably prefer to use the Alt-Tab keyboard shortcut. I'm just a gal who likes keyboard shortcuts versus clicking things with my mouse. So I'm actually going to take the task view button off of my taskbar. Okay, so you saw that went away. It's no longer between search and my File Explorer icon. I'm going to right click again. I can tell it to show a Windows link in my workspace button. I can show my touch keyboard button. So I'm going to go ahead and put the check mark in that. And then here is my touch keyboard. If I click this, a little keyboard's going to pop up eventually. Old computer, maybe it's just not going to work. So we're going to take that off. It's just not going to work. So I'm going to take it out of there. If I right click again, I have cascade windows, show windows stacked, show windows side by side, show the desktop. So these are kind of cool options. So if I say show the windows stacked, here I have these two windows that are stacked on top of one another. If I right click and tell it to undo that, okay, I could right click and I could say show them side by side. This is, this is a non-standard window, so let's undo that. Let me open something else up. Let me open this up, and I'm going to go ahead and close the calculator. Come on, you can see that. Okay, so now I have these two windows. If I right click and I say show them side by side, why is it doing that? It should show them like this. I should be able to do this and do this. There we go. All right, so let's undo that. Now let's do it again. Again, it wants to go quarter. I'm not sure why, probably because it's a smaller screen, but it should have done something like this instead. It should have done something like this. This is called Snap, and it allows us to work in two windows at the same time. Again, you can only have one that's active. You can only have one that's active, but you can see both at the same time. And this is a relatively small screen, so I don't use Snap very often because it is such a small screen. We're going to right click, we're going to undo that. Now what we're going to do, you'll see that we have a taskbar that's locked. If I take that lock off, then I can move it around. Okay, so now I've moved it around to the right hand side, and I'm going to move it up to the top, maybe. There we go, moved it up to the top, moved it to the side. Okay, I'm going to move it back down to the bottom. There we go. So, you know, you can move your taskbar around, make it easy for you to use. I used to use it on the left-hand side of the screen, but it's not as large, so I couldn't have as many things on there. So now I pulled it back down to the bottom. Now I'm going to go ahead and lock the taskbar again. Now I'm going to go into the taskbar properties. And so here it's going to open up this settings window. Remember we talked about settings from over here from the start. So here's settings. And it brings us right over here to the taskbar. Okay. Lock the taskbar is on. If it's green, it's on. If it's white, it's not. This is called automatically hide the taskbar in desktop mode. And I don't like this setting. I don't like my taskbar disappearing. But if we were to turn it on, the taskbar disappears from the bottom of the screen. If I pull my cursor back down there, it comes back up. That is annoying to me. Some people like it, some people don't. I'm one that doesn't like it. So I'm going to go ahead and turn that back off. This is tablet mode. We're not going to worry about that because this isn't a tablet. This is saying that we can use small taskbar buttons. So right now, my taskbar looks pretty small, but these are actually pretty large compared to what they could be. So I have bad eyes. I'm going to turn this back off because I want to have the largest icons that I can have down there. We could say use peek to preview the desktop when you move your mouse to the show desktop button at the end of the taskbar. So here, if this is on and I move my cursor over here, this is called peek. You can see that I have some other things open, but it's showing me what my desktop looks like when I hover over that show desktop button. Okay, I don't like that because sometimes my mouse, I inadvertently move it while I'm typing around. I might move it out of my way, and if it goes down there to the corner, then my screen goes back to the desktop. I mean, it's not gone, but it's just annoying to have to get and move your mouse all that time. Replace command prompt with Windows PowerShell. We're not going to worry about that. Show badges on the taskbar buttons. What they mean by a badge is like, see my mail here? So I have mail and it has the number 2. That's telling me that I have 2 new messages. That's a badge. Okay. So if I had a new update in the Windows Store, then that would say 1 or 2 or 10. That would be a badge. So that's what they're talking about. Show badges on the taskbar buttons. We can change our location. Taskbar location on the screen bottom. If I could say no, I want it to be left. I want it to be right. I want it to be top. Okay, so I can move my taskbar that way as well. Combine taskbar buttons. So always and hide the label. What they're talking about is when I have multiple things open. So if I come over here and I were to click another tab and then pull it out. So let's just pull this out. Come on. There we go. So then I have 2. Okay. And here I have, you can see that we have a dark green line and then a lighter green line behind it. That's indicating I have 2 windows open. If I cursor over, I can see both of the windows. Okay, they're combining them. That's what that that's what that setting is. It wants us to hide, to always combine them, and then to hide the labels. If I say I don't want them to be hidden, so only when the taskbar is full, so here what it did is it says, okay, here you have Firefox window and a Firefox window. Or I could say never. Okay, I like to actually combine them. This is the default setting, always, and hide the labels, because I don't like taking up that much of my taskbar space. Okay, so right now we're going to move on over here into, we're not going to close this though, because we have some more things that we're going to address. We're going to move over here to the notification area. See, I've cleared up quite a bit of my taskbar now, because I got rid of the start box and just went to Cortana, just the little dot, and then I took the task view button out of there, because I'll just rather use the keyboard shortcut Alt and Tab to flip between any programs that are open. So I've got some space cleared up here, which is kind of nice. Now we've got the notification area, and if I click on this, I can see all of these other things. I kind of like having this guy right here so I can see him all the time. This is the Safely Remove Hardware and Eject Media button. And this is pretty important. You know, we're going to work with flash drives in this class, and you might be using this flash drive just for this class, which is fine, or you might have a lot of other things on your flash drive. I have almost 16 gigabytes of information on my flash drive, and it's from all different classes that I've taught or classes that I'm taking. And so I don't want anything to happen to that information. So the thing we want to remember with flash drives is, before you unplug them, you need to break the connection that the computer has with the flash drive. So let's go through the process. When we plug a flash drive in, this is considered hardware, and it's being plugged into a USB port. The computer says, oh, you've plugged something in. I have to find the driver so that I know how to interact with it. So the driver is simply a piece of software that bridges the gap between the operating system and the hardware that you've plugged in. Okay, so it installs the driver and it says, oh, everything's ready to go, and then a box pops up. We get what's called an autoplay menu. With Windows 10, it kind of looks a little different, and I don't think I have an extra flash or an extra USB port here to show you. And am I using that? No, I can do that. I'm going to go ahead and disconnect this. All right, so now I'm going to plug this back in. And when I plug it back in, it pops up, because I've already told it that when this is plugged in, I want it to open the folder to view the files. If you haven't plugged one in before, you're going to get a little box down here in the corner that says click here to tell us how to interact with this device. And then when you do that, a box pops up over here in the right corner, and it says use it as a backup drive, or use it to boost the speed of your computer, or open the folder to view the files. So I clicked open the folder to view the files. So every time I plug this in, this is what's going to happen now. It's going to open the folder to view the files on my flash drive. Okay, so now I've used my flash drive, I've saved some stuff to it, I've taken some stuff off. Now I'm ready to put my flash drive back in my pocket and head on to my office or go somewhere else, but I don't want to turn my computer off. So we have to break the connection that the computer has with the flash drive, so that we don't damage any of the files on there. And I know you're going to say, well, I just unplug it and everything's fine. You're right. 9 times out of 10, nothing's going to happen. It's going to be fine. But it's that 10th time that's going to come up and bite you in the keister, and you're going to lose stuff, and then you're going to say bad words. So we want to try to make you not feel that stress. So if you just get in the habit of doing this every time you remove your flash drive, it's going to be a lot easier for you. I have had things I have lost things on flash drives just for that reason, because I got into a hurry and I just popped the flash drive out without turning the computer off, without signing out of my profile, and not telling it to remove it safely. So I've lost things, and then I've had to recover some items and recreate some stuff, and it's just not fun. Why put yourself through that if you don't need to? You can take an extra 10 seconds to remove this safely and not have those things happen. So this is one of the things that I like to put in my taskbar, so I can see it all the time. And I want to change the setting so that I can see it down here in the shown items versus being shown in the hidden. Okay, so I'm going to come back over here to my settings, and consequently this is, if we go home, this is going to be in the personalization category. So if we clicked on Start and we went to Settings, this is what we see. And then we'd come over here to Personalization, and then we'd go down here to Taskbar. Okay. So now I'm going to scroll down a little bit, and it says, it says Notification Area, right? Select which icons appear on the taskbar. So I'm going to go ahead and click this, and then this tells me all the things that are running in the background. Okay, I can say I want, let's see here, this one right here, I want to turn this one on. So now I should see that in there, and then let's see, what's the other one? There we go. I looked at the wrong one. See, this one looks just like this one. This one actually indicates that it's safely remove hardware. So I'm going to turn this one back off. Now I'm going to go ahead and close this. Here you can see that I have the safely remove hardware and eject media button here instead of having to click this button to pull it up. Now I could put all these up here, but these are the ones that I use all the time, and I'm actually going to hide this one. I think I'm going to go back into the settings and come over here and go to personalization, and again single clicks work just fine here, and taskbar, and then I'm going to tell it select which icons, and I'm going to turn off the power, because I know that there's no battery that's detected. The battery's there, but it's been dead for years, so I'm just going to turn that off. And so now I've got my safe to remove hardware, I've got my sound, and I have my internet connection that I can see. I can turn other things on and off. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to go ahead and close this now. And so now I've customized my notification area. Now we talked a little bit about the time and the date. Okay, so here we've got our date and our time, and it's set for the right day. It's set Tuesday, September 19th at 4:11 p.m. If I come back over here to my start and my settings, I should be able, oh, wrong one, sorry, should be able to go to time and language, and then here I've got the date and the time. So it's telling me what time it is. It's set automatically. I can change my time zone. We are the Pacific time zone -8. We can show different things. We can turn things off. So this is where you would change it. Now you're not going to have that option on campus because they've turned that privilege off. You don't have those permissions, but at home you could take a look at those types of things. So, and then again, we could go to region and language. We're in the United States. We're using English. We could add a language. So you know, if you're Spanish, or if you speak Spanish or you speak another language, you could always add a different language as well. So there we go. All right, so that's basically the taskbar, how we can customize that taskbar to fit our needs. If you have any questions, please let me know, melissa.lenz@ghc.edu, and thank you for joining me.